Welcome back to Voice of the Nation. Please welcome Khun Supalak Ganjanakhundee, visiting research fellow of Pridi Bhanomyong International College. สวัสดีค่ะ Good morning. I can't hear you.
Unmute myself. Good morning again.
Good morning ค่ะ
To back into
Good morning ครับพี่ครับ
old home. Morning ครับคุณยิ่งยอด
Welcome to our program ค่ะ So first of all, I would like to talk about, as yesterday, the 1st of February 2026 marked the 1 year of the coup d'etat in Myanmar, when the military ousted a democratically elected government. From last year until now, what has changed since then? Or we can see that they have seized the power, but clearly they cannot even govern the country. What are your perspectives?
Well, the coup in Myanmar is not the strength things, but as we are now, many observers has a verdict that this is a failed coup because until now, 1 year later, we still keep talking about the coup and its consequence. That's a serious thing. Usually, we are familiar with the coup in Thailand, right? So when the governments, when the military take a coup, they will install the civilian government or something look like a civilian government and deliver their many things to restore the country. But in Myanmar, it's contrary. The Tatmadaw, the Myanmar military, as we know, they just escalate the fighting and violence across the country. That's a really serious thing. So, from my view, I would say that the coup not only toppled an elected civilian government under Aung San Suu Kyi, but also damaged the Myanmar economy, destroyed peace, shook stability, affect livelihoods of the people. So far, the military, which known as Tatmadaw, as we know, I will call it Tatmadaw from now on, has killed more than 1,500 people so far. But the actual number of the casualty might be a lot more, as incidents sometimes happen without report. So that's the question. And the military crash attack to civilians took place more than 7,600 times in many areas, particularly in the hotspot like Sky, Macwest, as well as the current state, Kaya state, that near Thai border. So number of violence in Myanmar between September and December, as we count as last year, when the Tatmadaw launched a dry season offensive against the ethnic groups, is more than what happened in Syria and Afghanistan combat. That's really serious thing as well. The United Nations has reported that more than 200,000 people displaced, and thousands of them, we all know that they fled to Thailand to seek a safe place, and sometimes Thai government not really kind to them. They push them back when the situation is still unsafe. That's on the livelihoods of the people. That's on stabilities of the political situation in Myanmar. So the other side is very serious. The World Bank has reported, as Kunina also report, also that the coup and combined with the COVID, together with the COVID pandemic, has posed a severe negative impact on Myanmar economy since last year, with the contraction of 18%. 18% is the worst in Southeast Asia that Myanmar has faced. The violence also affect business operation because only half of their capacity to be operated in this situation because of violence, because of protests, because of kind of things that happen. So the business cannot do the business as usual. So that's why there's a failure of the military junta or the Tatmadaw when they govern the country, but they can't govern anymore. And the violence also forced the foreign investment out from countries. Many companies like Kirin of Japan, Amata of Thailand even, Telenor of Norway, and Total of France. So the problem is that when the capital flew out, Myanmar lack of liquidity, right? And there's also lack of money. We can say that, and the junta pump money in the system by printing currency in that. That's cause another problems because that it causes inflation, high inflation. So this is the problem, and many measures that try to like to block the movement of the dissidents, such as the internet shutdown, also has a backfire phenomena because it's also cut the money transactions of the banking and financial system in Myanmar. So this situation, from my view, we can see that all the kind of thing that happened in the country that.
With this piece of with this serious impacts, do you think that the military junta can continue to hold political power and control the society?
Well, we have to compare because the dissident also is many activists, many observers, international experts that who closely look at Myanmar military affairs and security. As I think this is a consensus among them, say that this is a unprecedented resistance in Myanmar history when the people took arms against the well-equipped Tatmadaw. And we already know that in history, ethnic minorities, ethnic groups actually took arms against the authority nearly centuries since the independence of the country. So that is a big challenge also. But when we compare, we look at the Tatmadaw, they have 300 up to 400,000 troops, very well equipped. With nice going on, it's airstrike, maybe power effort might not compare to Thailand, but it's powerful enough because they target civilian. So in this sense, of course, many people may argue that they have people defense force, they have the arms organizations of the minorities along the border that have experience in fighting, but their strategy is in question. We don't know how they fight. We don't know how they can recruit the fighters. We don't know where the supply of equipment will come from. So from my view, I think the junta might be lost control in some areas, but they're still in charge and they still have power and they still can operate in many areas, such as in former capital Yangon, and the central and the south of the country is still relatively peaceful. But in area like northeast, maybe that's a violence breaks out and the Tatmadaw will lose control. But if I answer this question quickly, I would just say that, well, the Tatmadaw is still in charge, but the impact might be serious and they are in search and destroy mode. So the people might be took that serious impact from that, and bloodshed will be going on. That's a problem.
So, well, as yesterday, it marks 1 year anniversary, but so far we haven't seen or we haven't heard about any violence in Myanmar of the first year of anniversary marking. Do you think that it is a sign that something is going on, or they are preparing something?
Oh no, yesterday peaceful because the dissident and protester they call silence protest. Because it's like this, the juntas call all their supporters to come out to celebrate the 1 year anniversary of the coup, and the dissident pay back by calling that people just keep saying staying at home, don't come out. So the situation is quiet. Anyway, there's some minor incidents in Keng Tung yesterday, as we heard some reports saying that General Min Aung Hlaing visit somebody in Keng Tung, and people come out to protest him. There are some incidents happen, and somebody is injured. There's no confirmed report about that. But anyway, this happened. It's not peaceful, and it's just like a tactic for the protest. So sometimes when they see the Tatmadaw recruits their supporters, so the dissidents and the protesters remain silent and have used another tactic for their own safety one way, and for another is they know they cannot compare with the Tatmadaw in that sense. So it's not so smart to just like attack the Tatmadaw.
I see. So, for what you see, the role of Thailand so far, what do you think about the role of Thailand so far in this situation?
Well, Thailand did nothing. Actually, it's really disappointing for the countries which always is a front runner of this situation in this region. We also have initiative, many policy, foreign policy toward Myanmar in the past. For example, if I give you some name, maybe you're familiar with, Khun constructive engagement, flexible engagement, enhancing engagement. That initiated by Bangkok. But since that, since the coup, since last year, I didn't see any initiative from Thailand, Thai government, current government. People may keep saying that because we are so close and the two governments has shared the same rules because they are military government, right? And they took power by coup, right? So that's why they are remain silent or try to say that they use backdoor policy. They try to use quiet diplomacy, try to contact and try to deliver humanitarian assistance, but it's not enough for me because we have seen that the situation is very serious. Daw Aung San Suu Kyi was persecuted with unfair treatment in the what we call we cannot say the judicial justice system in Myanmar will not work properly. So that's why we say it. And Thailand remain silent. So one proposal that's come up in recent months that we propose Thailand to play an active role to provide humanitarian assistance to Myanmar, particularly person who across the border to Thailand, they're running from violence. So, but still, we don't have anything happen along the border. We just say sometimes they provide what we call temporary shelter before pushing them back to Myanmar when the situation is reportedly unsafe enough.
Okay.
May I ask you about the agenda of the ASEAN Retreat on the 16th to 17th of February this month, which is soon. I would like to ask the agenda of this ASEAN Retreat meeting. Would there be any discussion or would there come with the solutions for this matter, long ongoing matter?
Yes, of course they will, because it is their obligation to discuss the situation in Myanmar, and because as we remember, ASEAN has some measure. We take some measure. We have what we call 5-point consensus that adopt since April last year, a few months after the coup, and until now, we don't see any implementation of that 5-point consensus. And the chair of ASEAN this year is Cambodia. Prime Minister Hun Sen just visit Naypyidaw in Jan, but this is unproductive visit because just visit and see Min Aung Hlaing and never touch any other root cause of the problems. Never demand to see Aung San Suu Kyi, never demand anything from the Tatmadaw, just visit. And in fact, as we know behind the scene, that he invited Min Aung Hlaing to attend the ASEAN summit, and he invites what we call the Khun who actually the foreign minister of the military government now to join the meeting that will come up. Actually, this retreat meeting has postponed since January, right? Because many members disappointed with the Hun Sen visit. So that's why they insist that if you invite the Myanmar representative, political representatives to the retreat, they would not comfortable for them to join that meeting. So that's why they postponed until February. So now, Prime Minister Hun Sen has to consult with Indonesia and Malaysia and try to set a new stand toward Myanmar and insist that unless there's progress in the implementation of the 5-point consensus, Minang will never attend the summit, and non-political representative only be invited to the ASEAN meeting or any kind. So there's no problem. As far as I know, they are preparing to do something. For example, dispatching the special envoys. Now is a Cambodian foreign minister to visit Myanmar again in the capacity of the special envoy. But we don't know in what condition and in what criteria that will make that visit and for what purpose and to see anything, because it's made clear within the 5-point consensus that if the special envoy visit Myanmar, he need to see all stakeholders. Stakeholders, there's so many stakeholders in this problems in Myanmar, right?
I see. The violence of human rights is a topic that everyone is watching. Though the ASEAN has tried to solve this problem and even has a special envoy monitoring the situation, there is still no solution we can tell now. So that does mean finally Myanmar will be considered a failed state. What do you think about this one?
Well, it's likely because ASEAN just say, well, stop violence and commence the negotiation or even talk, consultation, what kind of things, and try to employ these diplomatic ways rather than using any other kind like a tough measure, sanction as the Western country has done. That's a problem of ASEAN because we don't have that kind of sanction measure. We have no measure that could pressure Myanmar authority to stop violence. So the violence, human rights violations still going on. There is nobody to turn it off, but it's still on and on all the time. It happen every day. That one problem. Another problem is that there's no unity among ASEAN members as well. For example, when things happen next door from Thailand, Thailand is one last state. We did not think when the violation of human rights happened. We even said nothing about that.
We even said nothing.
No, our government didn't say anything that critically
I see.
Taekwondo.
Well, according to Khun Paramat, he just wrote a personal letter to all his ASEAN colleagues appealing for ASEAN unity and centrality, saying that Thailand has been concerned about the discord amongst the ASEAN members, which negatively impact the grouping's image and international profile. And yes, so in terms of that, are you saying that Thailand should do more in order to help
Thailand
Myanmar?
should do more because we used to be very active in regional affairs. Thailand also as a frontliner always. We never just sit still on the situation. I think I talked many times, including yesterday session at my office, Pridi Bhanomyong College at Thammasat. So we propose Thailand to open safe zone, or what we call sometimes in technical term like humanitarian corridors. We expect that Thailand will, foreign ministry in particular, to invite all concerned parties that can provide humanitarian assistance to Myanmar, because things happen because situation is going on, violence is going on, and every country say that we are willing to provide the assistance to Myanmar, not only from the but also for the COVID. But when the violence is going on, so we cannot deliver such assistance. And Thailand are in a good position because we are sitting next door, right? So we have to open things and urge, pressure, or whatsoever that we can do the Tamador to stop violence first. Because the violence comes from the Tamador. We don't just, but Tamador just blame the other dissident or just say, or minority groups and ethnic groups that the other side is created. Because they said they already announced a unilateral ceasefire until the end of this year, but actually we don't know. The airstrike is not the cease of the violation, right? The airstrike is the operation, military operation, even the two civilians. So Thailand has to be active and doing that with ASEAN. Thailand should, from my point of view, help Cambodia because we are very close to Cambodia also, right? Because Cambodia is a shared country. So now Thailand should propose itself like a friend of the ship to deliver the thing that necessary. A necessary thing to do that is the need for Thailand to do the things now. Don't waste the time writing any other letter that's useless actually.
Well, does that mean that we should stand we should stand firm with the with what is right to do, or with the what I should say democracy?
Well, I perhaps don't need even to say about the democracy. Humanitarian is strong enough for the country like Thailand. Also, I know many people in Thailand don't like the word democracy or human rights. That's fine. we don't mind. But just give the need and necessity for our human friends. That's enough. That's a good thing for Thailand. Because Thailand has a good reputation on this, right? We welcome thousands of refugees from Indonesia, even Myanmar. Since 1988, we still have 100,000 of them. And also, we absorb millions of workers from Myanmar in Thailand. So that's why just think we can do.
So my last question is, what's next for Myanmar for this year? What should be on the watch for Myanmar for this year, 2022?
No, I still press my hope in ASEAN and becoming retreat should map out a clear plan and or whatever you call roadmap or action plan or what's the thing. Because now we allow many people to interpret the five-fold consensus without any clear direction. So Minang can interpret for their own, Onsen interpret another way, Indonesia interpret for another way, Bangkok interpret another way. So ASEAN should collectively sitting together and discuss the action plan, what to do next. What's the point to send our special envoy to Myanmar without any condition? What you want to see? What you want to see in Myanmar, and what the cooperation from the junta? And if they don't cooperate, we have any sanction? Well, think about this. I think this is the next step that ASEAN can do, and Thailand also have to help the chair of ASEAN to map out the thing that we should do, because we cannot just steal and okay, wow, come out to help the other. No, it's not happening that way. So we have to be more active and call on everybody. Come to Bangkok and talk about Myanmar. Or to Phnom Penh, that's fine. I don't mind wherever you can go, Jakarta or Singapore or Manila. But sitting and map up a real action plan that we can take any action, 1, 2, 3, what we want to do. That's the next step that we will save Myanmar in this.
Okay, so I think we covered that pretty much. Well, thank you for joining our program for today. And for next time, for the ASEAN Retreat on the 16th and 17th of February, if you have time, I would like to invite you back on my program again.
Yeah, I'm glad to be joined back to our home. Actually, nation is also my roots. So that's right. Very, very glad to see two of you that produce a very useful, insightful program that for the voice of the nation, for the face of the nation as well. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much for